Okay, welcome back. This is our second lesson on division of polynomials, and we are going to start with the problem y to the third minus 27 multiplied by y minus 3 to the negative 1 power. And reminding you, negative 1 exponents mean move from numerator to what? Denominator. So we're actually looking at y to the third minus 27 divided by y minus 3. So you guys see here, we have division of a binomial and a binomial. Okay, remember, does the y cancel with the y to the third? Can we cancel the y to the y with the third and get y squared? No, this is not possible. Why? Well, because we have addition. Okay, so when there's addition, things do not cancel. Remember, addition locks up everything left and right. Addition locks up everything left and right. So everything is locked up and nothing cancels because of the addition. So instead we use a process called long division. Now I also said since there's a variable in the denominator, since we have a y in the denominator on all of these problems, or we have a variable, I should say, in the denominator on every problem, this lesson can technically be called rational expressions. Okay, so we're technically studying rational expressions. Rational expressions, again, reminding you, are a polynomial divided by a polynomial. So it's the division of two polynomials. So whenever you're dividing polynomials, let me spell that correctly. Whenever you're dividing polynomials, you're looking at rational expressions. So technically this is a rational expression. We use a process called long division. So we're looking at y to the third minus 27 divided by y minus 3. Now, although this problem looks simple, there are still many steps to this problem. Don't be confused by the fact that you're just looking at a binomial in the numerator. Rather, this is determined, the number of steps is determined by the degree. Since we have third degree, there will be 3 steps. Okay, so now we're going to ask what. There will be 3 steps down here. What multiplies by the front to give the front, or what multiplies by y to give y to the third. Okay, again, you can take the y to the third and write y times y times y, put a box around everything except the extra y. So what multiplies by the y to give y to the third? It's in the box. Okay, so y squared. Y squared multiplies by y to give y to the third. And now we simply take the y squared and multiply by both. If you don't understand this, make sure that you've watched the previous video first. So take y squared multiplied by y, we get what? Y to the third. And now take the y squared multiplied by the negative 3, we get negative 3y squared. And why are we multiplying by both? Because, again, distributive property. When multiplication meets addition, what property applies? We're taking the y squared, multiplying by both. When multiplication meets addition, we distribute. Okay, so y squared times y gives y to the third, and y squared times negative 3 gives negative 3y squared. And the result is written here. Now we subtract both. So the parentheses are necessary. The parentheses mean that you're subtracting both. We don't like to subtract, we like to add. So take the negative and distribute. Make this negative, make this positive. We're adding instead. What is y cubed plus negative y cubed? Hopefully you say the front terms cancel and we get 0y cubed. But we do not have to write the 0y cubed. This is just 0. They cancel out. Now, 27 plus 3y squared. Do these combine? Hopefully you say no. If I write the problem like this, y to the third minus 27 plus negative y to the third plus 3y squared. This is more familiar to your eyes because this is what we were doing. We were dealing with everything horizontally when we simplified polynomials. Now, I should say today, are we technically simplifying? Are we technically simplifying? Yes. Simplify means to what? Simplify means to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. So we have added, subtracted, and multiplied in this class. We are now dividing polynomials. So you guys are just dividing. Yes, we are still simplifying. So you guys looked at addition in the previous lessons. So we look at y cubed plus negative y cubed. When we add, something must match. Y cubed plus negative y cubed cancel out, giving 0y cubed. We don't write it. And negative 27 plus 3y squared. Do these match? No, but we put the largest degree first. The largest degree, or the largest exponent of the variable. Since we have a y squared, the 3y squared is written first, cross it out, and the minus 27 is written second. So they do not combine because they do not match, but we put them in order of degree. So 3y squared first, then your minus 27. So when we add here, does the 27 combine with the 3y squared under addition? No, because they don't match. But which one are we going to write first? Well, we're going to write our 3y squared first because it has a larger degree, degree 2. And we're going to write our 27 second because 27 has degree 0. Remember, this is y to the 0. We don't write the y to the 0. Now, we start the process over again. So the question is, what multiplies by the front to give the front? Or what multiplies by y to give 3y squared? You can take your 3y squared again and write it like this. Put a box around everything except a y. What multiplies by y to give 3y squared? It's in the box. That's 3y. So 3y multiplies by y. 3y multiplies by y to give 3y squared. And now take the 3y and multiply by the negative 3. 3y times negative 3 is what? Negative 9y. Now, we don't like to subtract. We like to add. So we're going to change the signs. I just start doing this. Change the signs and add instead. Okay, so negative, let's see, 3y squared minus 3y or plus negative 3y squared cancel out, giving 0. Negative 27 plus 9y. Question, do these combine? No, they do not. Oh, that was bad. Almost lost the board there. Okay, so my board's hang up against the wall. I'm not going to start the video over. We'll just bear with it. Okay, so that was close. All right, so a little bit of a minor catastrophe, well, almost a catastrophe that hit the camera. All right, hopefully that stays. So negative 27 plus 9y. Do these cancel? Or I'm sorry. Do these combine? No, they do not match. So we put the 9y first because it has a degree, a first degree. We put the minus 27 second, and now we ask the question: what multiplies by y to give the 9y? What multiplies by y to give 9y? Hopefully you say, well, that is 9. Okay, so 9 times y gives 9y. And 9 times the negative 3 gives negative 27. Okay, so now we change the signs and add. The 9y plus negative 9y cancel. Negative 27 plus 27 also cancels, giving a remainder of 0. And this is our answer. Okay, now, looking at the other process called fake division or synthetic division. Very important here that you see we have missing terms. With the synthetic division, you always write from your largest degree down to 0. So we start with the dividend. What is the largest degree of the dividend? Okay, so largest degree of the dividend is third degree, so we start with our third degree term. We write y to the third, not x. We're using y here, so go ahead and use variable y. Y to the third all the way down to 0. So y squared, y, and y to the 0. You cannot skip. You must include every degree down to 0. If something is missing in the problem, then you insert a constant value or a coefficient value of 0. Let me show you. So we look at our y to the third term. Do we have a y to the third term? Yes. What is in front of the y to the third term? Well, that's a 1. So we put a 1 underneath the y to the third. Do we have a y squared term? Is there a y squared term in the problem? No. So what do we put instead? We put a 0. Okay, it's very important. Synthetic division is a trick. It's a trick. It's a man-made trick that works. Okay, so this trick only works when you insert placeholder zeros for anything that's missing. So you have to include every degree. You must put a 0 for anything that's missing. So we go from y to the third all the way down to y to the 0, putting zeros if anything is missing. So on y to the third we put a 1. And on our next term, there is no y squared term, so we put a 0. Is there a y term? No, there is no y term, so we put another 0. Now, is there a y to the 0 or constant term? Yes, we have a negative 27. So put your negative 27 for your constant. And in the box goes the opposite of what's next to the divisor. Next to the divisor, we have a negative 3, or in the divisor. In the divisor, we have a negative 3. The opposite of negative 3 is what? Positive 3. Question. If this was a positive 3, in the box, what would we put? We would put the opposite, which would be negative 3. So always put the opposite in the box. And we start this process by bringing down the 1. So bring down the front number. And we do what first? Do we multiply or add first? If you remember, please excuse my aunt. It says that we multiply before we add. So we multiply, then add. So multiply first. 3 times 1 gives 3. Now add. 0 plus 3 is 3. Now multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. Now add 0 plus 9 is 9. Now multiply. 3 times 9 is 27. Now add negative 27 plus 27 is what? 0. Now here we have what? Y to the third, so go 1 degree less. 1 degree less than y to the third is y squared. And all the way down to 0. So y squared, y to the 0, and now your remainder. Okay, so all the way down to 0, then the remainder. So we now glue it back together as an answer. So we have 1y squared, which is just written as y squared, plus what? Plus 3y, plus 9, and a remainder of 0 that we don't write. So our final answer is y squared plus 3y plus 9. Notice that this answer matches what? This answer matches this answer. Now, one more example. In the book, maybe problem number, let's see here. Hopefully the board doesn't fall on us again. Problem number, let's see. I guess number 6. So we have y to the 5th minus 3y squared minus 20 multiplied by quantity y minus 2 to the negative 1 power. And here we're looking at what? Remember, negative 1 exponent means move it to the bottom. So we're looking at y to the 5th minus 3y squared minus 20 divided by y minus 2, and this marker starts running out. Let me grab another marker. The marker's running low on ink. So we're looking at division. Okay, now, setting this up as long division, we have y to the 5th minus 3y squared minus 20 divided by y minus 2, and let's start the process. So we're asking the question, what multiplies by the front to give the front? Hopefully you can just follow this now. If you're not following this, again, you might have to look at the previous video. So what multiplies by y to give y to the 5th? Just go 1 degree less. 1 degree less. So we have what? Y to the 4th. Notice this is 5th degree, this is 4th degree. So if you always just go 1 degree less, that will be your answer for now. Okay, we're not going to get into more complicated examples at this point in the course. So what times y gives y to the 5th? 1 degree less is y to the 4th. Take the y to the 4th, multiply by both. Y to the 4th times y is y to the 5th. Y to the 4th times negative 2 is negative 2y to the 4th. And now we change the signs, make this negative, make this positive, and we add. The y to the 5th plus negative y to the 5th cancel. Question, does the y to the 4th match the y to the squared? No. Which one goes first? We put our y to the 4th term first, so positive 2y to the 4th, and bring everything else down. Minus 3y squared goes next, then minus 20, and start the process over. What times y gives 2y to the 4th? 1 degree less than y to the 4th is y to the 3rd. So what times y gives 2y to the 4th? Hopefully you say 2y to the 3rd. And now take the 2y to the 3rd and multiply by both. 2y to the 3rd times y is 2y to the 4th. And 2y to the 3rd times negative 2 is negative 4y to the 3rd. And change your signs and add. Okay? The front, 2y to the 4th plus negative 2y to the 4th cancel. And question, does the y squared and y cubed term combine? No. They don't match, so we have the 4y cubed first, then minus 3y squared, then minus 20, and start the process over again. What times y gives 4y cubed? We have 4y squared. So now 4y squared times y gives 4y to the 3rd. 4y squared times negative 2 gives negative 8y squared. We change the signs and add. The front, 4y to the 3rd plus negative 4y to the 3rd cancel. And these do combine because y squared matches y squared. What matches doesn't change. Add what's in front. Negative 3 plus 8 is 5. We get 5y squared. Bring down the negative 20. Start the process over again. What times y gives 5y squared? Hopefully you say 5y. 5y times y is 5y squared. 5y times negative 2 is negative 10y. And change your signs and add. Okay, so we add, the front cancels. The 10y and the negative 20 do not combine. We put the 10y first, minus 20 second, and ask what times y gives 10y? Well, this is 10. Okay, so 10 times y is 10y. And 10 times negative 2 is negative 20. We change our signs Add the 10, negative 10 cancel. Negative 20 plus 20 gives what? A 0. So we get a remainder of 0. Let's start over here. We're looking at synthetic division on the same problem. Synthetic division says we start with largest degree of the dividend. Okay, since we have y to the 5th, we start with y to the 5th and go all the way down to 0. So y to the 4th, y to the 3rd, y squared, y, and y to the 0, and I'm running out of space there. But what is in front of y? Here, let me rewrite that so we have more clarity there. Y to the 5th, y to the 4th, y to the 3rd, y squared, y, and y to the 0. And now what's in front of y to the 5th? What's in front of y to the 5th? Hopefully you say a constant of 1, okay, or a coefficient of 1. What's in front of your y to the 4th? Or do we have a y to the 4th term? No. So what do we insert if a term is missing? We insert a 0. Remember, every degree has to be accounted for in the fake division. Okay, now, so what's in front of our y cubed term? We don't have y cubed, so we put a 0. What's in front of y squared? Hopefully you say a negative 3. What's in front of the y term? Well, there is no y term, so we put a 0. And what is our constant? Remember, y to the 0 represents a number that does not have a variable. Y to the 0, or our constant, is negative 20. And what goes in this little box over here? In the box goes the opposite of the number in the divisor. Since we have a negative 2 in the divisor, in the box goes the opposite, which is positive 2. And we start this process by first bringing down the front number. Bring down the 1. And remember, we multiply, then add, multiply, then add, multiply, then add, and we're done. So multiply. 2 times 1 is 2. Now add. 0 plus 2 is 2. Now multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. Now add. 0 plus 4 is 4. Now multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. Now add. Negative 3 plus 8 is 5. Now multiply. 2 times 5 is 10. Now add. 0 plus 10 is 10. Now multiply. 2 times 10 is what? 2 times 10 is 20. Now add. We get a 0. Now if this is y to the 5th, go 1 degree less for your answer. 1 degree less than y to the 5th is y to the 4th. Notice, here we had y to the 5th. Notice 1 degree less is y to the 4th. All the way down to what? We have y to the 4th, y cubed, y squared, y, and y to the 0 on the end. Okay, so y 1 degree less than y to the 5th is y to the 4th. And then what do we have? All the way down to 0. Y cubed, y squared, y to the 0, and your remainder. Finally, glue your answer back together. We have 1y to the 4th, which is written as y to the 4th, plus 2y cubed, plus 4y squared, plus 5y, and plus 10. Okay? And that is the final answer. And that concludes this video. All right?